All right, haves and have not fans, I hope everybody's doing well. And this particular video, don't worry, I still have a couple other videos breaking down, how I would have wanted the finale to go down, let alone the final season. Ideas for a spin-off, unresolved things. Trust and believe, this channel still has life in it. I mean, the haves and have-nots might be the title, but you all know I do a variety of other shows too, as well as, thinking of new ways to, expand, if you will. But, that's coming in due time. But for the near future, just expect haves and have-not content. I still got some left in the tank. But for this particular video, not to sound super negative, but I just want to talk about the realistic situation we're in right now. A lot of people are in the same boat of the finale was trash. I didn't like it. I didn't feel like we got a proper send-off after almost a decade of support. What's next? Tyler, is he bringing it to Viacom? Is the series going to continue? If it does, will it be like Candace, Hannah, Veronica even just waking up from a nightmare and everybody's still alive? Because I'm not saying the show can't continue. Trust and believe. I feel like that's like I feel like Loki alternate timelines. One video I could talk about based on how the finale ended. Here's how the story can continue with just Hannah, the Malones, and Charles versus, okay, it was somebody's dream, so let's change it up a bit. I feel like Tyler, in my opinion, isn't interested in this show. I feel like he hasn't. I feel like he was an employee who put in his 2-week notice like 3 years ago. I feel like the moment he signed that deal with Viacom, that was pretty much it. I remember back in, 2016, 2017, it was like the top of the year. That article dropped announcing Tyler's move from OWN to Viacom, and he's wrapping up Have and Have-Nots of Loving You Is Wrong. Those shows wouldn't be leaving OWN. They will be wrapping up on their home network while he's off working on BET projects and whatnot. And I feel like it was there in the writing, from the way he wrote the characters to be just the same. I mean, from the fact that the show lacked that driving factor that made you want to watch each week. It's been lacking for some time. And looking at the finale as a whole, where it was just a sloppy way of killing everybody off, you could tell right there that was Tyler Perry putting a period at the end of it. That was it. That's a wrap. And to be honest, as a creator myself here on the channel and whatnot, I get it. You reach a certain point where, yeah, there was this thing that brought in, a lot of recognition, attention, and whatnot, and money. But at the end of the day, you're ready to move on to something new. But it's hard for me to say that with a straight face, because look at the Medea character. Medea was the thing that put him on the map. I'm going to kill that old broad off. But now she's back in a new film, and she's getting a Showtime series. So let me just say, it's not impossible, but I think it's safe to say that at this point in his career, remember, Tyler, this was like 8 years ago. Tyler's 51 now? So he was, early 40s when he wrote The Haves and the Have-Nots. And it's like these musical artists out here, their first couple albums, when they're hungry for success, there's like a lot of soul and energy and care put into each track on an album. But once they reach a certain level of fame or that crossover mainstream success, they really don't feel like they appeal to the crowd that they initially went for, or their music doesn't have that same level of effort put into it like it used to. There aren't many Weekends or Bruno Marses out here who take their time to craft songs as opposed to putting out an album every month, So I feel like with the haves and the have-nots, it was kind of lightning in the bottle. And I'm not saying Tyler can't do it again. I just feel like Tyler's at a point in his life. And keep in mind, guys, and if you're newer to the channel, because I know a lot of people have said, hey, I just came across your channel last week during the finale. So I'm a fan like everyone else. I don't know Tyler Perry. I've never met him, spoke to him, got a call from him or anything like that. I'm just a fan with a YouTube channel. That's it. So when I say these things, keep in mind, I'm saying it from an outside perspective. I don't see him having an interest anymore now. And not to, throw stones or anything, but the fact that the final cast reunion went down and he was on vacation, so he wasn't even there to arrive at the filming of that. I feel like once again, it's like, hey, billionaire, have-nots did its thing. Viacom shows are, hitting it out of the ballpark. I've allowed other writers and directors to come on to other shows. I'm going to just sit back and relax. And it makes sense because the haves and the have-nots was the saving grace. To me, even though things got a little rocky there between Oprah and Tyler at one point, I feel like the haves and the have-nots was a special gift for her. It's kind of like, okay, I want to help you craft this network you got here. And this is like my best thing at the time. This is after the TBS deal went through where he didn't get renewed for House of Pain, Meet the Browns and whatnot. So he decided to link up with Oprah, who gave him an opportunity to help out with launching OWN. So the haves and the have-nots, Love Thy Neighbor, and then eventually If Loving You Is Wrong came out. But the haves and the have-nots was like that. I feel like, if nothing else, I don't think there'll ever be another show where the first episode hit me and made me look at Tyler Perry in a completely new way. I feel like the haves and the have-nots was that once in a lifetime show. And I feel like any show he does afterwards, obviously the shows he's put out now, that are trying to be a long running drama series, I wouldn't call them cheap imitations, but you can definitely see the influence of the haves and the have-nots in shows like The Oval, for example. I mean, hell, even the first episode, fans were like, wait, Victoria definitely has Veronica Harrington feels, and she kind of feels like a blending between Catherine, Candace, and Veronica and how she handles certain things. And, Sisters, I feel like it's kind of its own thing. I feel like it's definitely its own thing. I feel like, like I said, long-running drama series. I think The Oval is, quote-unquote, the haves and have-nots on BET. And you could even argue that the Charles storyline, which really meant nothing in the grand scheme of things based on the finale, was the birth of The Oval. That's honestly what I think. So I just feel like if the fans want it bad enough, maybe he'd bring it back. At this point in time, I think two things could be true. Tyler could bring back the haves and the have-nots when a lot of, if not all of his current shows begin to tank. And really, I'm focusing more on The Oval and Sisters because I feel like those are the two shows where he puts in the most effort. Assisted Living and House of Pain, the current season that's currently on hiatus, as well as the upcoming seasons for both shows, they were written and directed by other people, not Tyler. BET Plus, since he does Oval himself, he does Ruthless himself. Ruthless is the only show on BET Plus that I feel like, draws in viewers. All the Queen's Men is in September, and that wasn't just a Tyler project. So I feel like the way Tyler's doing things, if all these other shows begin to dip, then he'll probably bring the haves and the have-nots back for the sake of ratings. But then on the flip side, I could see him doing it for the sake of fun. Like, hey, all these other shows, they're doing well. I've handed the reins over to other writers and directors and whatnot. So, you know what, the haves and the have-nots, let me reopen that book, so I can finish things up the way I really wanted to finish things up. Not for the sake of the OWN network, not for the sake of ratings, but the way I wanted to do it. But if you were to ask me right now, July 27, 2021, I think that chapter of his life is done. I feel like the haves and the have-nots will forever be a major milestone within Tyler Perry's career, as well as television history. But I just feel like Tyler is done with it. I feel like for me, one of the key signs of this was the gala at the Tyler Perry Studios, where all the cast got their stars on the Tyler Perry Walk of Fame, so to speak. And at that point, you could tell Tyler was more focused on presenting Sisters, presenting The Oval. I mean, you could argue, well, Jeremy, what are you saying? Years later, House of Pain came back twice. First, it's the Pains, and now House of Pain on BET. And yeah, that's all good, except for the Pains. But those shows don't really feel like the original. Sure, you got the original cast back, but for most of them anyway, but it doesn't feel like it used to. It just feels like a completely different show, in a certain respect, that is. So I feel like the haves and the have-nots, if you wait too long to bring it back, well, I mean, sure, the excitement might be there for the first handful of episodes, the first season, but if it's not written the way it used to be written, then I think you're just spitting in the face of fans who want it back, but you're just going to give us like the store brand version of Mountain Dew, Mountain Lightning. Don't get me wrong, I put down some Mountain Lightning back in the day. So I think for me, I think Tyler Perry has moved on, and it's like, just based on the way the show ended, I feel like that was his way of just, sloppily ending. It's almost like, back in college or whatever, where the professor or the teacher, whoever, would say, or you can even average it, I'm not the only one that did this, where you would go on Blackboard, you would see what your current grade is, and it's like, wow, I could get like a 15 on the final project, the final exam, and still get a passing grade in this class. I feel like Tyler was just like that, where it's like, okay, the show, it's got high ratings during this period to that period, so I could throw together anything for a finale. The ratings will be there, and then that'll be it. And that's kind of what happened. So I feel like when he said it's going to be crazy good, I feel like that's a Tyler lie. A Tyler lie. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think Tyler Perry has any interest in bringing back the haves and the have-nots? Or currently, do you feel like me, where it's like it's over and done with? He's on another level. Tyler is on an entirely different level in 2021 than he was back in 2013 when the show first aired. That's honestly what I'm saying. It's kind of like, he could put out anything. He knows it's going to get views. Negative reviews, sure, but the ratings are going to be there. So it is what it is. But with that being said, that leads into another video I might do, which is if the show were to come back, why not have different people write it? So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Hope everybody is doing well or has been doing well. This is the final week of July. Make the most of it. And with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next video.